Kahala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rekahak Radash. Double honors to the elder apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who were well for teaching his word in truth and sincerity. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. To you I say Shalom. PFAS is a synthetic chemical used to make products resistant to stains, grease, soil, and water. PFAS is part of a class of chemicals called pre- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS. Certain chemicals known as PFAS, salts, and transformation and degradation precursors can break down in the environment into PFAS. I asked Google if PFAS was related to those forever chemicals. I'm not sure if anybody have heard of the forever chemicals, but they've been popping up in the drinking waters of certain cities. Long Island, I believe in Michigan, and there's been a few other places I can't remember in the US, and I do believe in Italy. That was the last place that I heard. I believe it was Italy that I heard, the last place that I heard where PFAS has popped up at. But that's what I asked Google if it's a product of forever chemicals. And the reply was yes. PFAS, perfluorooctane, sulfonate, is a type of PFAS, pre- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, which are famously known as forever chemicals because their incredibly strong chemical bonds make them resistant to breaking down in the environment and the body, allowing them to persist for very long periods. Why they are forever chemicals? Durability bonds. The carbon fluorine bond in PFAS is one of the strongest in chemistry, making them nearly indestructible by natural processes like heat, water, and microbes. Widespread presence due to their use in countless products, non-stick pans, rain gear, food packaging, firefighting foams. They have become globally widespread in water, soil, animals, and in human body, in human blood. Bioaccumulation. They can stay in the body, in a human body, for years, with half-lives of several years, building up over time with continued exposure. This just letting you know how wicked your enemy is, man. This just letting you know how perverse they are for money. You know, they don't care about the people. They'll kill their own people to make a buck. This is why they're called the wicked in the Bible. Esau, Edom, spearheaded by Amalek, the head of the Edomites. You know, your top banking families, your small hats. These are the people that don't give two shits about the people here in Babylon, man. They'll destroy their own people just to turn a dollar. Like here, you know, it's popped up in Long Island. And then anybody know about Long Island, you know what I'm saying, Long Island, New York, that's where you have the Hamptons, and you have affluent neighborhoods, man. So these people have a little bit of bread, they pretty wealthy, for the most part. I ain't gonna say the majority of them, but for the most part, a lot of them are well off, and they're turning up, you know, making ruckus because these forever chemicals are popping up in their waters, and a lot of them are getting cancer behind it. Let's go to the scriptures. This is Job 16:11. Power have delivered me to the ungodly and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. Because of our disobedience, man, because all of our idolatry, we was put on a timeout, man. We was made to go sit in that corner. We had to go through different oppressions. We had to go through different captivities, which this being the last captivity, but we had to go through them. We had to go through these things because of our disobedience. We are in this position now, being tortured pretty much by the wickedest of the wicked, Esau, Edom. And we're turned, we basically under the hands of the Edomites, and they've turned their wicked devices upon us. This here is a wicked device, and it's not something that that can be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like this wicked device here is odorless, it's tasteless. It has no color to it, and it pretty much will destroy, a lot of humans on this planet, man. And that's all because we're not in our righteous rulership, because we were that wicked as well. You know what I mean? We wouldn't listen to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. When we was given instructions, when we was given a set of rules to live by, we felt it was too tough, man. We murmured, we begged, we mocked the Lord, and this is the outcome of that. This is the outcome of our disobedience. Right now, we're pretty much in the hands of a cruel Lord. I'm gonna go to Sirach, the book of Ecclesiasticus. We'll go to chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like an iron rusteth, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Everything he touch, he destroys. Everything these people touch, they destroy. Just like it says in Job 9:24, man, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. And we see how wicked these people are in their rulership, and how they're not to be trusted with anything. These people will destroy you, the earth, the trees, the water. All the things that they have touched, and they have found a way to destroy it. It's almost like they're walking, living, breathing gangrene. Like They're like a walking virus, walking, talking, breathing virus. Everything they touch, it just withers away. They're trying to suck all the oil out of the earth, you know? They're trying to make it so that you can't breathe. You can't drink the water. You can't eat bread. You can't eat this. You can't eat that. They have this thing called terminator seeds where, you can only harvest one time out of that seed when the seed is supposed to keep producing. These people are the wickedest thing to the name, to the word wicked. I'm pretty sure in the kingdom, man, if we're able to look up words and things of that nature, when you look up that word wicked, it'll probably have a picture of an Edomite next to it, because that's how wicked these people are. I'm gonna go to Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. This is what it looked like. These are the things that we go through when the unrighteous man, Esau, Edom, when that unrighteous group of people have the ability to rule or put into the rulers, the rulership seat. These are the things that you have to these are the things you have to endure. These are the things you have to go through. In Lamentations, it was in Lamentations 5, where Jeremiah, he was complaining that he had to buy water and wood, Shit, no lie. That's the least of your concerns at the moment. This is how wicked it's become. That, at one point we were here mad because we had to buy water and buy certain things because, the earth produces it. But shit, man, I'd rather buy some water as long as it's, as long as it's clean. You just want clean water now. Like, but all these PFAS, all these different forever chemicals basically are like your plastics. You'll find it more in your plastics. And this is how the earth is governed now, man. Everything is polluted. Everything this man touches, he pollutes. I'm gonna go to Job 21:30. Job 21:30. That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. So this is the day we're looking for. That's actually a day that you look forward to, is when this man is taken out of the power seat. When the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai comes back and rectify the situation and put this heathen into captivity. He is the worst of all the heathens. And he's given, he was given power. He was given the blessing of the sword and the fruit of the earth. And look what he's done with it. He's used his sword not only to violently rape, rob, and murder people. He also has done it to the earth itself. So this man of perdition, Esau, Edom, the wicked, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he has to be taken off of here. Like, he can't be allowed to run this, you know what I'm saying, be in the power seat forever. You know? That's why prophecies say that, you know, he's going to go into captivity for all the wickedness that he's done to the earth, for all the wickedness that he's done to the Lord, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai's people. You know, this man got to be put into captivity, man. And he got to be basically just wiped out, man. He gonna have to get put into bondage. And he gonna have to work his ass off to rebuild, you know what I'm saying, the land, our homeland, Israel. And then after 1,000 years, man, he just gotta be taken out of here, man. Just put him in the, you know what I'm saying, in that pit and just burn his ass up. You know. The earth will be better off without the, you know what I'm saying, without this group of people. Period. So I'm gonna go on to let's see. I'm going over to Job. Just read Job real quick. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where? And who is he? It's just like the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. You know? He's made it his business to oppress the true biblical Israelites, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He covered up your faces by painting over the images of what the true biblical Israelites look like, what Hamashiach Yahweh Shai look like, what the apostles look like. He covered up the faces of the judges by having us oppressed here in Babylon, not knowing who we are, giving us false doctrine, you know, and having our people believe in straight foolishness and nonsense instead of the true and living word of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. So yeah, this man, that wicked man, Esau Edom, spearheaded by Amalek, your small hats, the imposters in the land, your top banking families. These are the people that are destroying the earth single-handedly. They only been in the position of this rulership for a few hundred years, man. And look where they've taken the earth. You know, the earth is crying out for its just due. The earth is crying out for just to have a break, you know, so it can replenish itself. They don't even follow the land Sabbath, you know. These people are some of the, I ain't gonna say some, these are the wickedest people you could ever come across. And you see it in their works, in their day-to-day works. Every day they're cutting down more and more trees. These are only group of people that kill animals for sport, you know, just to put a head on their mantle, you know, take the skin and make a rug out of it. Like these people, this group of people definitely have to be taken out of here, man. They have to be taken off of here. Like, we need the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to come back and just rectify the situation, man. So I'm going over to Isaiah 40, 47, and 12. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so be that thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. When you go into the word enchantment, it's associations, company, band, shared association, society, a magician, charmer, spell. That's the word khabar. But when you look at it, it's just person's associations, man. It's the company, man. It's the band. It's the society. It's their, it's their shared association. These people are wicked, and they all conspire to do wicked. When you're at the top level, you know what I'm saying, the top level of these of these Edomites, they all conspire together to do wickedness. You know, they 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 all come together with one thing in mind: is to make as much money as they possibly can, rip off the people as much as they can, strip the earth of its natural resources as much as they can, all the fat in their pockets, and to live their best life while hoarding resources and things of that nature for themselves. Let's take a look at that word sorceries real quick in this particular verse. That's sorcery, witchcraft. Yep. And that's yep. So you can listen to the word. If I'm pronouncing it right, it's kashaf. And it's basically, it goes into their witchcraft, their sorcery, because they deal with they deal with everything on the left hand side. They deal with that witchcraft on the left hand side. So they out here casting spells and things of that nature so they can prevail and keep the money flowing, so they can stay prosperous as during their short span of ruling. And let's take a look at that in the NLT. That's Isaiah 47:12. Now use your magic charms, use the spells you have worked at all these years. Maybe they will do you some good. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you. So that goes into their whole thing, man. And their whole thing is to create a fear, so that the people will always ask for better legislation. The people will always ask for something for something to be done about certain situations where they always going to give up a particular amount of freedoms and liberties, quote unquote, that they have. Just like with that bogus ass, buildings falling, them two towers falling, and the whole guys was it was a TR movement going on. It was all based off of TR, and they had the people scared. So the people begged for new legislation to be safer, And where did they come up with? The Patriot Act. You know? So these are different tactics, man, that these people use to strike fear in the people's hearts, you know. And always, you know what I'm saying, they'll always demand, like the people always demand for better legislation and things of that nature, which just basically will put you further in the hole, you know. But this man is wicked, and there's nothing upright about him. I'm going to go to Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And that's what the people are doing now, man. All over, you know, pretty much all over the globe. You know what I'm saying? All the wicked, you know what I'm saying, all the wicked elites of all these different nations got their people, you know, mourning. Because none of them know how to deal righteously. You know, especially here in Babylon the Great, you know. Those top banking families are just unbelievably wicked, man. And the funny thing is they got their own people hating on each other. You know, when Esau hates Esau, you know, you got Amalek fighting with the Edomites over here, you know. It's just one big shit show, man. These Edomites, they one big walking, talking shit show, along with being a virus to the planet, you know. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play this. It's about 4 minutes, 4-minute audio, and it's from independent public radio. You know, they was talking. It was like at the end of Esau's Babylonian year, they had like a recap of all the different segments that they had throughout the year. And this particular segment was going into the EPA and those PFAS chemicals. And basically the EPA, you know, they wanted to get rid of certain legislation where they have to basically tell the public what they're doing and the chemicals that they're using. They have to put these warning labels on things, and they pretty much wanted legislation so that they wouldn't have to do that. So we just go ahead and play that real quick. It's about 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Water surpassed recommended maximum levels of PFAS. Mm-hmm. The study follows the EPA's establishment last year of the first enforceable drinking water standard for 6 PFAS types, a regulation currently being challenged by water systems and industry groups in federal court.
You know, I don't really understand because the research goes back.
But they haven't done.
They haven't proven it.
They haven't gone and done and collected the data.
Yeah.
Dr. Claudia Thompson, chief of the Population Health Branch at the National Institutes of Environmental Health Sciences, or NIEHS, said, quote, "The significant associations identified between PFAS in drinking water and various cancers underscore the urgent need for more comprehensive research."
Well, not just research, but mitigation. We got to get this stuff out of the water.
Yep.
And we're spending billions and billions of dollars to take it out, but even that may not be enough to actually get rid of all the PFAS. So it's an incredible story and one that needs to be told. Anyway, what else you got?
Well, so the new administration is slowly getting rid of the EPA, piece by piece.
Yeah.
And Republican lawmakers are frankly thrilled with this.
They've been trying to do this forever. You know, they've been after the EPA for years and years. So what are they doing now?
You know, the EPA was started by President Nixon in 1970.
Thanks to Rachel Carson.
Yeah?
All right, so
well,
what are
here's
they doing?
one thing that's going on right now. For years, America's chemical companies and their supporters in Congress have been trying to get rid of a small program at the EPA that measures the threat of toxic chemicals. The program, called IRIS, I-R-I-S, stands for the Integrated Risk Information System. It does its own independent reviews of studies on toxic chemicals and then makes a determination about how much of a particular chemical the public can be exposed to without causing harm.
Okay, sounds like a good thing to do.
Yeah. Lots of organizations here in the U.S. and around the world depend on this IRIS database to make their own policy decisions. State and local health departments use IRIS to determine limits that should be placed on companies applying for air and water permits. Foreign governments and health agencies, including the World Health Organization, rely on the information in IRIS to create their own guidelines and regulations. Since its beginning in 1985, IRIS has grown to be the biggest and most reliable database of its kind in the world.
And now they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah. But not everyone is happy with IRIS.
Yeah.
Louisiana Senator John Kennedy has introduced legislation that would prohibit the EPA from using any of the information in its own IRIS database in its assessment of environmental rules, regulations, enforcement actions, and permits. It is actually called the No IRIS Act.
So you can have this database, but you can't use it for anything.
That's right. And it would essentially make the database unusable and unavailable.
Yeah, they're going to take it offline. It's just going to disappear, wither on the vine, and chemical companies will be so happy.
These are the companies that sent a letter to the new EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin to shut down this IRIS database. The American Petroleum Institute, which is the oil and gas industry, the Extruded Polystyrene Foam Association, makers of foam cup and styrofoam peanuts, the Plastics Industry Association, representing all the plastic manufacturers, and the Fertilizer Institute.
Gee whiz.
They claim that it has been used to develop regulations to protect the public from exposure to toxic chemicals, and that's not good.
That's what it's supposed to do, right? The whole point of the EPA is to protect people from exposure
How
to
can
these
you actually say that out loud?
Yeah, I know.
How can you actually say that?
This
we
database.
We want you not to develop regulations to protect the public from exposure to toxic chemicals.
And we don't want you to use this database because you might use it to do that. Good heavens, we can't have that.
It's
wow.
It's hard for me to even imagine what is going on, except that the people that are running these agencies now, these newly appointed heads of these agencies, really don't understand what these agencies are all about, what they were started for, and they're just looking at business.
Yeah.
They're looking at the economy.
That's
They're
right.
looking at commerce.
Regulations
Stop regulating us.
That's right. Don't get in our way. We have money to make. Get out of our way.
So you've heard it. This is coming out of other Edomites' mouth. The Edomites are sick of themselves, you know. But it's all in their efforts to make money. And these people are just that wicked, man. That they will suppress information, you know, warning the people of the things that they, that they put into their products. But they know they'll have a whole bunch of lawsuits if the people knew that. But that's how greedy these people are, you know. And their own tongues will fall on themselves, you know. When Esau hates Esau. So now the wickedness has spilled over to other Edomites, and they're furious, you know. And you can't rely on you can't rely on no politician, man. You know, it doesn't matter what level you on, you in somebody's pocket. So this is just how, you know what I'm saying, the state of Babylon is, man. And it's slowly but surely crumbling, brick by brick. Babylon is falling, you know. And good. Because we need we need that righteous kingdom, you know, to be brought in by Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach. We need that righteous rulership. We need, we need that change. We need, you know what I'm saying, we need that change of body. We need to become immortals, man, to you know what I'm saying, to deal with this right here. You know what I'm saying, to come back and come back from all this nonsense. We need to be changed. You know what I'm saying? We need the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments to be written out in one part, so we will never go through this again. You know, we see how not to rule You know, we we we're basically rehearsing the righteous acts and learning how to judge things properly. And this right here is one of them, man. Like how to deal with the earth, how to deal with product, how to deal with the people righteously, and not basically, subject the people to untimely deaths because of riches that you want to achieve. And it's just, what I'm saying, this is just a very wicked place, man. Like it's so wicked here that you just be wanting to walk up to an Edomite and just squeeze the life out of it. You know what I'm saying? Choke the motherfucker to death, man. You know what I mean? That's how wicked it is, man. It's just like you feel that way sometimes, man. And that's just how Babylon makes you. Like Babylon makes you like, I have you crazy. If you're not grounded in the scriptures, like Babylon, I have you going insane. You know what I'm saying? That's where the comfort of the scriptures come into play, man. Knowing that this ain't gonna last forever right here, man. This shit right here ain't gonna last forever. You know? Prophecies is, you know what I'm saying, fastly playing themselves out, in a timely manner, playing themselves out. We just waiting on our Lord, you know what I'm saying? Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah to come deliver us out of this mess. I'm gonna go into Psalms 37. And I'm gonna read verse 7. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. And this is what we witness almost every day here in Babylon, man. Every day we witness it. We witnessing Esau, Edom, bringing forth wicked devices. It doesn't matter what scale it's on. Everything these people produce is wicked, man. There's nothing that they produce that's lawful in the sight of the Lord. Nothing. And we have to, rely on the scriptures and wait our turn, because we got next, and we're watching how not to do these things, how not to govern, how not to move about. We learn how to, pretty much run the world in righteousness by watching unrighteous heathens, destroy this place. I'm gonna go on over the Psalms. I'm gonna stay in the book of Psalms, and I'm gonna go to Psalm 58. And I'll read from verse 2 to verse 11. And the subtitle to this, subheading to Psalms 58, Prayer for the Punishment of the Wicked. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that's all these people do, man. They rule in wickedness. They rule with an iron fist. They rule with violence. And the funny thing is, they'll portray to be the most humble, peaceful people, but they're the most violent, sick fucks out here. They the only ones that will rape, rob, and murder, pillage the land, pillage its people, and then smile about it, and have a party about it, have a party afterwards. These are the wickedest creatures the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has ever created. They are truly you know what I'm saying, masters of the left hand, you know, the left hand side of the Lord, man. Like, but it's perfect balance, you know. The Lord is about balance, you know what I'm saying? He keeps a balanced scale. He has a just scale. So, you know, these people are just unbelievably wicked, man. And you just pray and hope and just wait, you know, hoping that, you know what I'm saying, time speed up some more, prophecies come to play itself out, you know what I'm saying, a little bit faster. But, you know, that's what we have to do, man. We just have to pray and exalt the name of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. We have to pray and meditate on that name, scream his name out, you know, and make the Lord manifest, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way we did in Egypt, man. We have to get back to that constant prayer and mourning and moaning and groaning and, you know what I'm saying, begging for the Lord to come and get us, man. Because like the way it's going, man, it's like there will be no flesh left to save, man. But you know, you just have to rely on the scriptures and just, you know what I'm saying, wait our turn. You know, pretty much do the things that we supposed to be doing. You know, keep exalting the name, you know, praising the name of our true and living power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And, you know what I'm saying, beg for, you know what I'm saying, a speedy return. This is verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf otter that stoppeth her ear. Man, these dudes, they're a disease to the planet, you know. They are cancer to the planet, you know. They are parasite to the planet. They do no good, man. There's nothing about these people that are righteous, man. Not one thing. Verse 5. Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O power, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Yahweh. Yo, I can't wait for that day. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for that day for, you know what I'm saying, for the Lord just to put his foot square in one of these heathens' chest, man. Like, it's gonna be taken out by, you know what I'm saying, this place is gonna be taken out by fire. You know, we're gonna watch them, you know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we are the elect, we get to watch them burn, you know. And we're gonna watch 2/3 of our people burn too, man, for being just as wicked, for following these fucks. Following after these bastards, you know, trying to find way to, you know what I'm saying, trying to find and make way for a heathen, you know what I'm saying, to have some sort of, you know what I'm saying, authority in you know what I'm saying, in our land, in our kingdom that's come. Let them melt away. This is verse 7. Let them melt away as waters which run continually. With the bendeth his bow, when he bendeth his bow, Salakia, to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces, as a snail which melteth, let every one of them pass away, like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Before your pots can fill the thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, verily, There is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a power that judgeth in the earth. And I like to read those same verses in the NLT. I'm just going to go right on through them. Know your plot, injustice in your hearts. You spread violence throughout the land. These wicked people are born sinners. Even from birth, they have lied and gone from their own way. They spit venom like deadly snakes. They are like cobras that refuse to listen, ignoring the tunes of the snake charmers, no matter how skillfully they play. Break off their fangs, O power. Smash the jaws of these lions, O Yahweh. May they disappear like water into thirsty ground. Make their weapons useless in their hands. May they be like snails that dissolve into slime, like a stillborn child who will never see the sun. Power will sweep them away, both young and old, faster than a pot heats over burning thorns. The godly will rejoice when they see injustice avenged. They will wash their feet in the blood of the wicked. Then, at last, everyone will say, there truly is a reward for those who live for power. Surely, there is a power who judges justly here on earth. And we can't wait for that day. I know I can't. You know, I kind of had that spirit on me before I was even in the truth. Years before I was in the truth. I just wanted, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to see how this thing turned out. I just wanted to see. I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know their biblical names were Edomites, you know. I didn't know what an Edomite was. If you'd have asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what an Edomite was. But these are things that I used to ask for, man, without having knowledge of the scriptures, you know. I can't stand these, you know what I'm saying, these people, you know, because you know the violence that they've wreaked, that, you know what I'm saying, the violence and the havoc they have reaped on the earth, man. And you watch them destroy time and time again, whether it's quote unquote nature or another Israelite. You watch them just destroy over and over again. You watch them take lives, you know, and it's about time, you know what I'm saying? And that time is coming, man, that they're going to be put in those shoes. It's going to be role reversal, and you're going to see and smell the fear on them. And it's going to be a glorious day when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi returns, man, and we take these motherfuckers out. I hope this was edifying. Call her Lord Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahawashi, Ba'Shem Rakahak Radash, Abad Babal.